It's Colombia versus Canada for the gold medal in the men's singles masters here at the PABCON Champion of the Champions. Welcome back, everybody. Lucas Wiseman, along with two-time PBA champion, USBC Gold Coach, and Kegel Training Center Vice President, Del Warren.
Long introduction, Lucas.
You have a lot of accolades. So we've got Andres Gomez versus Dan MacLelland here in our men's gold medal match. It promises to be a high-powered matchup.
I think so. I think you have, at least to me, on the fresh. Watched all week. These two guys out of the gate had the best shot on the fresh. So it's going to take a pretty big number to win, I believe.
So Andres Gomez will start the match on the left lane. Kicks things off with a strike, and it begs repeating, Del, as we entered a new match here. The left lane and the right lane are conditioned with different patterns, correct?
Yep, you have, I believe, 41 feet on lane 7 and 35 feet on lane 8. They really couldn't play any differently. And you're going to see two different balls, two different hand positions, two different parts of the lane being played by both players.
Messenger comes across for Dan and takes out the 10.
He's throwing a red U-dot on the right lane, brand new out of the box. I was talking to him in practice session, and I was very fond of that ball back in the day.
That ball might be older than Dan.
I believe it is, yes.
And this is a matchup of two PBA players. Both these guys bowl on the Professional Bowlers Association Tour, which has quickly become more of an international tour.
And you got Dan, who's a two-time national champion, two-time collegiate player of the year, and a touring player now. And Andres has bowled all over the world. And won many titles. As a matter of fact, picked up his first PBA national title this year. So two of the best players in the world going out for the gold medal right here.
It was a very strong men's field here at the Champion of Champions. Amato Monticelli, Steve Smith, Marcelo Swartz among the other players in the men's side. So for these two to make it through, they had some tough matches to get here to bowl for the gold medal.
Look at that.
Yep, both start with doubles.
4 for 4.
Kind of what we expected. In the first match leading up to this, Andres Gomez in the quarterfinals beat Ernesto Franco 224 to 172. And then Andres kind of fortunate to make it to this point in the game against Marcelo Swartz. Andres wins 245-244 when Marcelo left a bucket on his first shot in the 10th to lose by 1. So Andres playing on house money here. He starts with the front 3.
Yeah, I think he threw the last 6.
He did. He threw the last 7 in that
last
one.
6 or 7, yeah. So he really came through in the end there, and it just goes to show you that you're never, until that last ball is thrown, you got to keep going. And he showed that he's a world-class professional.
And Dan MacLelland also had a match where he kind of made it through on the bench. When first round against Steve Smith, Steve left a 4-6 split in the 10th frame to lose by 10.
Sometimes those matches leading up to the money matches are the ones that are the toughest to get by. And that was a little pinch right at the bottom of the swing for him. That ball hooked a little early, got it left, and didn't quite set up enough to trip the 4.
So an instant deficit there for Dan MacLelland as he is the first one to blink. Take a look at the scoreboard. You can see that Andres has started with 3 consecutive strikes, and Dan MacLelland double 9 spare.
Lucas, that's a great way to put it. First one to blink.
Kind of expect that we're going to see a lot of strikes in this match, so you don't want to blink too much. Otherwise,
that's for sure.
You'll be knocked out. MacLelland shot 279 in the semifinal to move on. He just had one single pin leave in the game. So he has been bowling well today as well. Uh-oh, 4 through the face. Dan MacLelland with a 4 count. That's the first 4 count split through the face that I have seen this week.
Ditto for me, Lucas.
Comes at a terrible time for Dan MacLelland, too.
And he was on a spare.
Loses a lot of count.
He can make this, though. He can definitely make this.
Well, he gets 4 of them. You never want to see double 4s on the scoreboard. 71 in the 4th, and this match has changed pretty quickly in those last 2 frames by Dan MacLelland. And he's got a big hole to dig out of now, especially if Gomez strikes out or steps up and strikes on his next 2 shots here in the 4th and 5th.
Yeah, it's interesting. See if he gets a little defensive or this loosens his swing up a little bit more.
Way right.
Unbelievable.
What a break, though.
See what I mean by getting defensive? You start protecting. And again, that right lane, just like I was telling you in the ladies' match, that's the one that when guys flinch, they usually pay the penalty. It's interesting. The 4 count was on the longer pattern.
But a nice break for Andres, though, that the 4 fell into the 2 and into the head pin to leave it just an 8 pin.
That's a little much easier than shooting the 1, 2, 4, 8.
And it helps with the count on the 3-bagger as well.
Big time.
Take a look at the scoreboard. 4 frames in the books, and it's a 28-pin lead for Gomez.
And you just cannot leave the door open for Dan. Because there's probably at least a 50% chance he's going to go off the sheet here.
Yeah, you know Dan's getting refocused here and ready to go for the back half of this game. So Andres looking to make a statement here in the 5th frame.
Much better shot. And it's really important for Dan to keep at least a little bit of heat on Andres and get going here with a double.
Ten pin.
I haven't seen too many of that for Dan. His carry percentage has been outstanding all week.
And his body language is not telling a very good tale right now.
No, it's
28-pin deficit, but still 5 frames to go. He's not certainly not over by any stretch of the imagination.
As Marcelo found out,
yeah,
there's a lot of wood to go get out there right now.
.28-pin lead for Gomez as we are halfway through this gold medal match in the men's Masters. Lucas Wiseman along with Del Warren here at the Kegel Training Center in Lake Wales, Florida. Dan needs to try to get back on track here in the 6th frame. Better looking shot right there.
It's a big shot right here.
Yeah, Gomez working on a strike.
It's a big shot. He can
go up 39.
He can go from shooting into the 2 teens into shooting into the 230s.
30.
Two
Yeah,
strikes.
Go 38 here with a strike.
Yep.
Andre's going to take his time. Right again on that lane. What's going on there, Dell?
Well, he's trying to take his hand out of it a little bit, along with using a much weaker urethane ball, and when it's under pressure, when you've got to change releases and balls, and you got to let it go. It's not quite as easy as what it was in qualifying.
And it is a different pattern on each lane, which really keeps the players on their toes. You can't just get into a feel and start throwing strikes. You gotta think on both lanes.
And it's almost, you get into this position and you're a little uncomfortable, and instead of being aggressive, if you're behind, you start getting defensive, and pretty soon your opponent gets a little bit loose, and that deficit's gone.
Still a 28-pin lead for Andres. Seventh frame.
You know, and based on those shots, I'm sure Andres doesn't want to have to get up there and have to throw a double in the 10th on the right lane. So some interesting strategy also that comes into play. You know, being the higher seed, getting a chance to choose the pattern to finish on is big.
This is a big shot here from MacLelland. He has a chance to cut into that deficit. Get it down to 18 with a strike here. It's not a very good shot there from Dan.
Interesting.
Pulls it right through the face for the 4-6-7 split.
Did not expect that.
In an open frame, and now the lead swells for Gomez. It's now up to a 40-pin lead for Andres Gomez. With Gomez working on a strike, he's really in the driver's seat here in the back half of this game.
Really didn't expect that, I'll tell you. Just goes to show you a little added pressure and prestige. The gold medal of Champion of Champions here at the training center. Elite field. You add all that up, and sometimes it's just a little more difficult to, even though you got room for error out there, sometimes it just seems like you got a mosquito to hit.
And Dan takes a re-rack on that left lane. I wonder if that's twofold. One to try to regroup himself, and one to try to maybe slow down Andres a little bit.
Yeah, probably. He wants to make sure he can do something like that.
Yeah. Manages to regroup and get a strike in the 8th. He's in a lot of trouble here. He's going to need to strike out and hope for some help from Andres down the stretch. Look at the scoreboard. You can see Andres Gomez in the driver's seat here, up by 40 and a chance to go up by 50 if he can strike here. And really, if he strikes on his next 2 shots, it's over. Great shot.
Much better shot. A little bit firmer, on line. Yeah, when you have a 40-pin lead with 3 frames to go, it's a little bit easier to get off your hand than when you have a 28-pin lead when you have 5 frames to go.
Yeah, now Andres, just a couple of frames left, up by 50.
And I promise you, he did not expect Dan to shoot 170.
He was probably thinking Dan might shoot 270.
Exactly.
The way Dan has been going this week. Oh,
Big
trips
break.
out the 4. That's a winner right there.
We're going to have a Gomez gold medal ceremony.
That's right. Brother and sister will sweep the medals here, the gold medals. I think Dan's going to be real disappointed by his performance here in the gold medal match, but he did bowl really well most of the week.
Like I said, if you looked at the first two game averages, he had to be right up there, if not the leader. His mechanics are just wonderful. I think you're really looking at the future of professional bowling right here with Dan. He's got all of it, and watch his demeanor all week. He can pretty much do anything to the ball, and this is part of his seasoning as a professional.
And it never fails when it's out of the wood, the strikes come.
Yeah. A little less grip pressure and a little bit better rhythm. There's a big congratulations right there.
Andres Gomez is going to take the title here, the Colombian sweep of the individual masters. As Dan finishes up with a strike for 209.
Incredible.
So Andres will throw his final couple of shots here that really don't matter much. He's already mathematically won the title. The mixed doubles championship match will be coming up. After this, it will be Team USA versus Venezuela. So stay tuned for that. Andres
And
gonna have to throw one more shot. One last look at the scoreboard is Andres will strike for 236 here and Dan 209 in our gold medal match. Final shot. And the Gomez family can celebrate the sweep.
Unbelievable.
Andres Gomez and Paola
about that?
Gomez win the gold medals in both the women's and the men's
How about
individual masters. 236 to 209. Andres Gomez wins the title. So congratulations, Andres.
that? I mean, nice family photos there.
Del, once again, thanks for sitting in with us. And any final thoughts on this one? I think a little bit lower scoring out of Dan MacLelland than we thought he would have.
I'm very surprised, but again, it just goes to show you, left lane, right lane, two completely different conditions, and certainly the pressure of bowling for a gold medal changes things quite a bit.
Well, thanks everybody for watching. Stay with us. The mixed doubles gold medal match will be coming up in just a couple of minutes here on Bowl TV.